Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Everybody, welcome to All Hang Up and Listen. Rejoice! The Sabres have ended the 4-game losing streak, and they've beaten the Toronto Maple Leafs, avoiding the series sweep, the season series sweep, and coming back from being down 2-0 to win 4-3. Alex Nylander with a late, very, very late, I think like a minute and 1 second left to close the gap to 4-3, but Buffalo was able to close it out. Alex Tuch, couple clicks for him, getting back in the lineup. We all know, we've seen it with this team, how sorely he is missed in this lineup, on the ice, in the locker room, on the bench. Like, he is a leader like no other. And I know this discussion is going to keep happening. I'm going to keep bringing it up because I truly believe that is the next captain of the Buffalo Sabres once Kyle decides to hang it up, whether it's after this year or next, whatever the decision he decides to make. 100% in my opinion, he is the next captain of the Buffalo Sabres. But again, sorely missed player. That top line was not the same. They had a few moments there with Jack Quinn on it where they seemed to kind of get things going, but I mean, the results weren't there. You weren't able to play consistent hockey. Even tonight, to start this game, the first 30 minutes, it was ugly. It was getting ugly. And for me, just watching that, I was getting furious. I know there's some confusion on the shot count, shots on goal, what they were. But I halfway through the game, according to NHL.com, we had 7 shots on net. And I'm just sitting there going with the same old conversation. It's like this team is not meeting the moment. They're not showing up. You're starting to think, this team's done, like dinner, season's over. I was in that position. I was feeling like that. It was getting pretty nerve-wracking, to say the least. And, they responded the second half of that game. Quick goal there by Jack Quinn at the very end of a power play. I don't think it wasn't a power play goal. It was at the very end of the power play. Alex Tuch ties it up off a beautiful pass from Tage Thompson behind the back, no look pass. He just knew Tuch was there, and Tuch buried. He finished for his 29th. The workhorse from Whitehorse, same situation. The puck is thrown on net, and good things happen when you go to the net. Good things that happen when you throw the puck to the net from all angles. Like I've always said, this team, at least in certain situations, we're not good enough to win it just on talent alone. You have to go get those dirty, grimy, garbage, Mighty Ducks 1 goals, right? Find the garbage in front. That's the type of goals this team's going to have to keep scoring to keep themselves in this playoff race. And threw the puck on net from the point. You had 3 bodies in front. You were playing more desperate than the Leafs there. You had them outnumbered, and Dylan Cousins finds that puck and buries it. And then Alex Tuch seals the deal, ends up having the game-winning goal. I was hoping to get the hat trick there at the end. But, great. Alex Tuch gets his 30th of the season. First time ever scoring 30 goals in his career. Couple clicks for him. Guy, there was an interesting stat. I forget who tweeted it out, but Alex Tuch is just under, I think, a point a game per player over his career so far at Buffalo, and Jack Eichel's far from that, which I know some people are just tired of the whole, just get over it, get past it. Oh, no, it's fun. It's a fun conversation. I love it. So, but yeah, great response game after you got shellacked by Dallas 10-4. You lose to the Rangers 3-2, unfortunately, in overtime. You still got a point there. And then you come in here, you didn't let the 2-0 hole get you down. And I started to feel like, especially again near the end of that second period, and we tied that game up. It's like, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna win this game. I don't care what the numbers say when this team is trailing by 2 after 2 periods. I don't care. I just knew we were gonna find a way to pull that one out and win. People are gonna get back in the bandwagon after night. I don't care. I am firmly on this bandwagon to the playoffs until they are mathematically out. I don't care if they're at 0.0001%. I am still there because I love this hockey team so much. It's fun to play meaningful games in March, and it's something that we haven't experienced in a long, long time. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel like me. One thing that's bugged me a lot on Sabres Twitter, I guess, is there are certain accounts out there. I'm not going to name them. Some people here might know who I'm talking about, but certain accounts out there that just tend to tell fans how they should feel. Like, dictate if people are crazy for feeling this. How could you feel like this? You're wrong. You're a bunch of morons. Like, for saying because they're mad at Adams because he didn't make enough moves. Like, I think fans have every right to feel however the hell they want to feel about this hockey team after the last decade. You have every right to feel the way you want to feel. If you're mad at Kevin Adams because the only 2 moves he made was Riley Stillman and Jordan Greenway, you have the right to be mad, 100%, especially with the type of capital we have in the draft and the assets we have in the pipeline. If you're fine with it, you have every right to feel fine with it because either way, either move could have been dictated as the right move. But if we end up missing the playoffs by like 2 points, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be angry out there. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be angry out there that enough wasn't done. But that's not a conversation to have now. It's just something that I wanted to get off my chest. Something's been kind of bugging me. Some certain accounts out there that just say, tell fans how they should feel. I mean, they should. You're crazy if you're mad at Kevin Adams. No, you can feel however the hell you want to feel. I am happy. I am very happy to an extent of the job Kevin Adams has done. But I've been upset with him too. I love the Jordan Greenway move, but I thought more could have been done too, especially on your blue line. So you don't have situations where Jacob Bryson's in your lineup every other game. But we'll hit the peanut gallery here right now. A lot of people, before I even went live, there were a lot of comments already ready to go. For some reason, I can't see them. Oh, there they are. All right, first one in the one, Bill McBillis. You love to see it. Blow Leafs blow. Absolutely. It's a way of life, guys. Blow Leafs blow. Not just here in Buffalo, but all across the NHL. They are going to get walked by the Bruins in the first round. Yeah, probably. I don't care how much they did. It's just what they do. They lose in the first round. They'll probably go up 2 or 3 games to nothing and then blow it. Tuch is Sabres captain, heart and soul, inspirational leader, plays with an edge. Amen. Holly also scratch. Long overdue, has lost all confidence and mentally weak. I don't disagree with you. I still think he's missed on the power play. They went 1 for 3 today, but I think having him out there makes Tage more dangerous because you have to respect both sides. That's just my opinion. But other than that, I understand why fans are angry. I'm angry too. He's pretty useless at 5-on-5, and he's pretty snake bitten. Bryson needs to be scratched permanently. Pipsqueak, tiny leprechaun gets pushed around, panics, always a step slow. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. He is way too small. Power play unit, Krebs middle step, Patrick Quinn looks disconnected. No identity, no flow, no puck possession. Krebs looks invisible. Past 4 games, really. Before you finish, we got to get Mauricio he needs to be like a game notes guy because this guy, every time we go live, he's always here and he always comes with fire. He always comes with, good comments. It's well thought out. Whether I agree with him or not, I love it. I love every second of it. He knows that. We need Clegg or Pilot to replace Bryson. Why is Bryson on this team? Defensive liability, always on the ice. I'm going to say it. It's good karma. I stopped my channel, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy listening to the expert. Thanks for the support, Duane Goes there. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but but I'm just a fan. I'm a passionate fan just like you, but I appreciate it. It's humbling. Alex Tuch, absolutely, Cody. Alex Tuch, heart and soul of this team, and comes in and plays a fantastic game, gets that first line going right again. There was something missing there. You had some fluid play when Quinn was on that line. It worked to an extent, but I mean, I think when this line is together, Skin, Tuch, and Tage Thompson, I think Tage is still hurt too. By the way, I just don't. I don't see the same guy out there right now. I think he's playing hurt. Even with him playing hurt, look how dangerous that line is. It's unbelievable. We're one Jeff Skinner goal away from having 3 30-goal scorers on this hockey team. And if Dylan Cousins, gets there, we'll have 4. And if somehow Victor Olofsson gets back in this lineup and he starts scoring again, we could have 5. You never know. Leafs fans, Leaf Nation are so annoying, ignorant, self-righteous. Pop is conceited. I would know. I live here in the 6 Devils lair. Go blue and gold. Finish strong. Make Buffalo proud. Absolutely, Mauricio. I love a positive Mauricio. It's the best version of Mauricio. Bryson started off well and then became Jacob Bryson again. I hope Samuelson's not so. It is week to week. I'm not sure. I think it said lower body. Don't quote me on that. But when you hear week to week, it could be a week. It could be what Alex Tuch was. Alex Tuch was what, about 2.5 to 3 weeks, roughly, I think, somewhere around there. Welcome back, Alex Tuch, the man. I missed him. I think we all missed him. Can we love Tuch anymore? I don't know, Monster. I don't know. I took a lot of hate going into the season. Before the season started, I said Alex Tuch should be the captain. And rightfully, a lot of people came in. Darlene should be the next captain. He's been groomed to be. He got an A. Tuch didn't. I think that was more of a seniority thing. You have the 3 most senior players on the team with letters, which I understood, especially with Kyle getting the C. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion Darlene gets the C. I don't. I think that Tuch plays just as big of a role on this team as Darlene, without a doubt. Are we going to have 4 30-goal scorers this year regardless? 5 if Olofsson gets. I just said that. I agree. I think we have the potential to get 5 if Olofsson gets his head out of his ass. Alex Tuch is the guy that keeps the glue together with this team. I think I'm not saying tonight proves that, but I think tonight is a great example of it because this is just a different hockey team when he's out there. They just are. That top line, I think he's the key piece. He's the missing link to that line and them playing well together and them, gelling well enough together. Let's pay respect to Craig Anderson. Dude is getting it done at 40 plus. Yeah, Craig had a phenomenal game tonight. That Nylander shot at the end, he's got to have that. I know it was a snipe over the shoulder in between the posts, but I mean, he's a goaltender that plays a hybrid. He still plays that classic late 90s, early 2000s style, kick half butterfly saves, stacking the pads. You saw it today or tonight. Normally, for those goalies that are watching, the goalies that follow us, there's what we call now a VH was vertical horizontal, and then RVH reverse vertical horizontal, which is way you play on your post when the puck's in tight. And a lot of goalies tend to give that spot up right around your head and where the post and the crossbar connect because you maybe overplay the RVH or most of the time it's the RVH. You give that spot up. But Craig is the type of guy who doesn't necessarily play the RVH. He will go down into it, but he's a guy who will stand tall on that post sometimes. I think especially normally on that glove side. And he dipped down, he gave it away, and, Nylander made him pay. Luckily, it didn't hurt us at the end of the game. We still won 4-3. And I think that makes him 21-9-4 all time against, or 21-9-4 all time against the Leafs, which he owns the Leafs the way, who was it? Brian Elliott has owned the Sabres his entire career. He comes prepared when it comes to the Leafs. He just switches it to another gear. Well said about feeling about this team, Duane. Thank you. I appreciate it. Never left the bandwagon and won't. This is fun again. I've said I've said from the beginning of the season that if they finish in the running, I consider this a successful season. Now we can't stagnate, but I like what we've achieved this year. Yeah, I mean, even if we don't make the playoffs, I mean, how can you look at this season and be extremely disappointed. I mean, you'd be disappointed if you finish outside looking in, especially if you finish only a couple points out and you kind of look at what could have been if we would have made more moves at the trade deadline. Maybe if we would have scratched, Olofsson earlier, if we didn't have that 8-game losing streak earlier in the season, this 4-game losing streak coming in tonight, what could have been, even if we would have lost in the first round, just to have that atmosphere at the arena again of a playoff hockey game would have been phenomenal. Monster Tuch over Eichel. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think Vegas fans might want that, take that deal back, to be honest. Made it to the game tonight. Such an effort by Tuch. So proud of the boys tonight. Huge win. Always love it when you chime in. Aaron Newf. Again, I'm sorry if I butcher that name. Keep it off 26. Let him play and grow. Tuch is perfect. I agree. I think Tuch is built to be the captain. I think he was born to be the captain of this hockey team. And it's not remotely an indictment against Rasmus Dahlin. It just isn't. Dahlin could be. I would be just fine with them giving the seat to Dahlin after Okposo retires. But I think just Alex Tuch, as you've all commented, he's born to be the captain of this hockey team. He just is. To me, I mean, he's the one. He's the number one answer as who you put that letter on once Okposo retires. Let's call Tuch the captain, but can we please start calling him Buffalo's nature boy? Absolutely, man. I agree. Would you have been okay with the Sabres getting Quick for what Vegas gave up? Yeah. I mean, Johnny Quick, man, he coming into today, he was 3-0 with a shutout. I mean, and I think if the season ended today, they would play Los Angeles in the first round, which, revenge for Johnny Quick for the way things ended for him. And with LA, a guy plays his whole career, wins 2 cups, a Hall of Fame career. And, for them to not even really consult with him about that trade to Columbus, and then Columbus ships him back to Vegas. So obviously he can stay close to home. Doesn't have to move. And then from Cody Merrill, 2 games in hand and only 5 points out on the Islanders. I understand why fans have given up, but we're still in this. Yes, Tuch captain. Malkin didn't need to see. Kane didn't need to see. Some players prosper a lot without the stigma of the sea. I 100% agree, Monster. 100% agree. I think that Tuch he would wear any letter with pride. He's wearing that jersey with pride. All he needs is that jersey. But I think it would mean so much more to a guy like him. Not an indictment against Dahlin, not an indictment against Cousins, not against any player on that team. I just think it would take on a whole different meaning for a guy like Alex Tuch. For him and the city, it would, to have a guy who, I've said this 1,000 times on this show, he was smiling ear to ear when he was traded to Buffalo. And find me another player in the NHL in that moment with everything that was going on around Buffalo, the controversy of the neck surgery with Eichel, just losing Sam Reinhart, rebuilding again, finishing in the basement again, everything that was going on with this team at that time. Find me another player in this league, in the world, who would have been smiling the way Alex Tuch was on that podium down at the KeyBank Center when they introduced him as a Buffalo Sabre, from being traded from a cup contender to the last place team in the National Hockey League. You're not going to find another player. You won't. And that's what this team and that's what that jersey means to him. Leafs suck. Leafs are blowhard. I love it how much you just hate Leafs fans. Absolutely means more to 89, like it would mean more to 26 to be the C of his home team. Yeah, agreed. I'd be fine with Dahlin being the captain. I know we're not trying to have a long conversation about who should be the next captain of this hockey team, but it is something to talk about. It's a talking point for sure. More so in the offseason when we know what Kyle Okposo decides in terms of his career. But it's a talking point. I think it's one that should be brought up again because I think that is the guy that it should be given to. Half off topic, but I'd like to hear your take on the goaltending situation, especially after Andy's performance tonight. Is Luukkonen fine considering defense, or was Marty right about him not being the guy after it decides that Andy hang up? So Marty said that he doesn't foresee UPL being the number one guy I think that's what you're saying after Anderson retires. I've never. It's funny you say Marty. So I kind of look at Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with the injury history, kind of the inconsistencies sometimes. Like he does show up big and big in big moments, but then he'll go into a stretch of cold hockey where he'll let muffins in here and there, and his game has come a long way since last year. And yes, it does take goalies longer to develop, but when I look UPL at face value right now, to me, is Marty Baron. I think that right now, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is a very serviceable, probably one of the better 1Bs in the league. Much like you could have a situation with what Columbus has had for so long before they traded Korpisalo and Elvis and Korpisalo. A situation like that where if you run into a long stretch of games, 4 games and 6 nights, whatever it is, you can rely on UPL to be the guy for 1 or 2 of those games. But I just don't know if right now I could look at him as the full-time starter. And I think with trading Portillo, them not addressing goaltender at the deadline, to me, that just says that they've paved the way for Devin Levi. And they're making it known to him that this is your job, pretty much when you want it. They have a ton of belief in him. And, unfortunately they lost to Providence in the Hockey East quarterfinals the other night. And I know that, I've spoken to Justin Ritzkoian, his best friend and team at Northeastern, and, they're heartbroken over there. I mean, rightfully so. That's the whole reason why I went back to school to begin with, was have another chance at that. And unfortunately, they're not going to be in the dance this year. But Devin had a phenomenal season. He's nominated for the Mike Richter Award again. He's nominated for Hockey East Player of the Year. I'm not sure about he's Hockey East Goaltender of the Year. And I'm not sure about the Hobie Baker Award. He might be in that conversation. I'm not sure, but he should be, in my opinion, because again, he had a phenomenal year. 934 save percentage. I think it was a 225 goals against. On a much more, I'm not going to say worse team at Northeastern, but I don't think they had as much firepower this year as they had last. And Justin, again, a friend of the program, came a long way this year. Best face-off man in all of college hockey. And, a decision will probably be made soon, I'd imagine. So, here's to hope, that's it. Duane, stick it to Biz and Dangle. Yeah, I absolutely will. After I get off here, just pay attention to my page. I'm going to 100%. I honestly think Levi will pass UPL at some point. Kid has more poise and clutch and will only get better. I 100% agree. If you've ever played goaltend, been a goalie, studied the position, Devin Levi is such the perfect kid to watch when trying to show a young goaltender the proper mechanics of the position, because everything he does is so fluid. His feet, how quick they are, how mentally strong of a goaltender he is, how he moves in his crease, how aggressive he is, and how he controls his depth when he backs into his net, when the play's coming at him, like he is perfect depth control. And I can't wait to see him at the professional level, whether it's in Rochester this year and the NHL this year, next year. I can't wait, because I think he's going to be phenomenal. And like, for reference, I think that he's had like a top 3 greatest all-time career in terms of college hockey. He's right up there with Ryan Miller in terms of like the types of career he's had at the college level. It's actually pretty insane. But I digress. We're going to go over some stats here from tonight's game. We kind of went a little bit off topic there, but again, Sabres win 4-3, 33-28 and 5. I think that's the updated record. I think they were 32-28 and 5 coming into tonight. 33-28 and 5. Goal and assist from Dylan Cousins. Owen Power with 2 assists. JJ Paterka with 2 assists. I think it's 5 in the last 5 games for him too. Alex Tuch with 2 goals. Jack Quinn with a goal. Skinner with an assist. Riley Stillman with an assist. Tage Thompson with a beautiful assist to an Alex Tuch goal. And then Craig Anderson, 25 saves on 28 shots against. Phenomenal 2-on-0 save there at the end when it was still 4-2. That was a game save. Honestly, it might have been a game-saving save because they made it 4-3 not too long after that. Definitely could have been the game-saving stop. Sorry. Austin Matthews with a goal and 2 assists. Mitch Marner 2 assists. Kale Yamark with a goal. Alexander Kerfoot with an assist, and Willie Nylander with a goal. The third goal there late in the very, very, very late in the third period. 25 saves on 29 shots against for Matt Murray. I'm not sure if that's his first game back from injury. It might be. I don't know. But yeah, and the schedule upcoming is, not easy. This road trip, Washington, they're right up there with you in the standings. You need a win there. You absolutely need a win there. Then you have the Flyers on Friday, also away, and you return home to play the Bruins, 1:00 matinee game on March 19th, Sunday. The Predators back at home again on Tuesday, the 21st. Still at home against the Devils. The Devils, with newly added Timo Meier. That's going to be a very tough game. Very, very tough game. And then you're back on the road against the Islanders. That is going to be a huge game. I cannot, stress that enough, how big of a game that's going to be on March 25th. If you can rip off some wins here to get back into this race, that could be honestly a season deciding game right there. Whether you're going to be in this or not, depending on how you play up until that point, and whether you can take 2 points in a 4-point game, from the Islanders. You gain 2 points on them in the stands. You prevent them from getting 2 as well. Excuse me. Oh yeah, there it is. But yeah, it's again, phenomenal effort from this team tonight. Being down 2-0. Things were looking a little bleak there the first half of that game. You were scratching your head again, how is this team not showing up in these big moment games, especially against a team like Toronto? Nobody ever wants to lose to Toronto, especially me. Everybody knows that I fucking hate the Leafs. Love Leafs fans. I know some people don't like. I'm friends with a lot of Leafs fans. It's hard for me to hate on them. But yeah, we can obviously relate to an extent to the heartbreak of Buffalo sports to being a Maple Leafs fan. It sucks, the teams have always been good at selling hope. Hopefully we're not in the business of selling hope anymore. From Colin Donnie here. I think Levi will pass Luukkonen in time, but at what cost? Will Tuch be pushing 30 by then? Will Tage be at past his prime? Will another key player suffer a career-affecting injury? That you're really thinking really far ahead of that. You still have Darlene. You have you'll still have Tuch. You'll still have Tage, but you got Darlene, who's 22 years old. Owen Power is even 21 yet. Jack Quinn, JJ Paterka. You'll have Matthew Savoy, Yuri Kulik in the system ready to go. Will Noah Austin still be around? I'm not sure. Will Isaac Rosine still be around? Not sure. Will Ryan Johnson be a part of this program? I don't know. But I think you have a lot of draft capital, a lot of money to work with. I think this team is in very good shape for the next, honestly, 5 to 8 years, as long as you still continue to develop to a certain extent, develop the talent you have right now, but don't be afraid to use the blueprint of the Bruins and the Lightning and the Blackhawks of the past, the Kings of the past, and use the assets you do have to get better in the now. Those teams have done that. They've made a career of doing that. Pittsburgh made a career of doing that, finding players that are good now in return for assets of your own, whether it be picks or prospects. I think we'll be at that point next year where you start to see maybe moves like that, again, depending on what's going on with the organization. Also, in the standings, let's see here, NHL standings, we currently sit 5th in the Atlantic, I believe, with 71 points. I'm assuming this has been updated. 2 points behind the Panthers. And then, we're way behind everybody else in the Atlantic. But with that being said, again, I'm not sure if these standings have been updated. If somebody can correct me in the comments, is it 71 points, 33 wins for 71 points? Senators are right on our tail there. Same amount of games played. They're only a point back. The Red Wings are only a couple points back. Canadians are so far behind. In the Metropolitan Division, you have the Islanders at 76 points. The Capitals at 71 points, right there neck and neck with us. We have a game in hand on them, tied with them in the standings. And then, the Flyers at 59, Blue Jackets at 47. So, again, we're only 5. If this is the standings right now, we're at 71 points. We're only 5 points behind the Islanders right now. That is the most likely catchable team for the Buffalo Sabres right now. 78 points with the Penguins. They're kind of a little bit out of reach, but you have 2 games in hand on the New York Islanders. And that's 4 points right there. If you take full advantage of those 2 games in hand, you're right back in this. I don't care what anybody says. You are. This is such a big win tonight. Such a a statement win. I know we've had a couple of those this season, but this was a very, very, very big win for this hockey team, without a doubt. Looking at some of this, if you're a stats guy, you want to know any updated stats for this team. Again, you have Alex Tuch scoring his 30th goal of the season. Jeff Skinner, 1 short of 30. Dylan Cousins getting his 26th goal of the season. You would expect, barring injury, he will get 30 this year. And then Victor Olofsson, again, who didn't play tonight, 24 goals on the season. If he gets back in the lineup, I would expect that, a decent amount of games, he'd at least inch closer to 30 goals there for Buffalo on the season. And then Jack Quinn getting his 13th goal for 30 points on the year. Actually 31. I'm not sure if he had a goal and an assist tonight. I think he did. But they set 71 points because this is not an updated standings. They have it here on CBS.com. They have the Sabres at 32, 28, and 5. So yes, those were updated stats, 33, 28, and 5 for the Sabres for 71 points. I just such a good night when you beat the Leafs, man. It really is. I can't stress that enough. I say that a lot, but I fucking hate losing to them, man. I hate when they come to our arena and they overflow our arena in the lower bowl, sing their stupid songs, stupid chants. I love sending them home when they play here, at least. Sad for that 2.5 hour drive, however long they're waiting on the thruway to get back over the border. I love every second of it. Go home, sad, melancholy, whatever you want to call it. Blow Leafs blow, right? Blow Leafs blow. We have some more comments here in the peanut gallery. Actually, quite a few more. Here we go. Love your show, brother. Reach out whenever, and I got you. Love you, my dude. Love you too, Monster Man. I don't know if you're still on there. I hope you hear that. Love to have you on sometime for a post game for sure. From Donald Speranza, Alex Tuch was a beast tonight. Absolutely. I think he's the heart and soul of this team. Greg, I think Adams is thinking ahead to if this team peters out a little by the time it all comes together by having more young straps in the making, waiting to replace the older guys. Yes and no. I think that you have a lot of players. You have so much talent in your pipeline right now that eventually it does become a numbers game. You're going to have Tuch till 2030, Cousins till 2030. I'd imagine they'll get Darlene locked till 2030. Owen Power maybe beyond that. It's a numbers game. Jack Quinn, Paterka. If Ryan Johnson is going to be part of the team, eventually all these players, they're all probably not going to be on this team. Not all of these players you've already drafted. Your Ozine, your Oslin. I feel pretty good that Savoy and Kulik will be pushing to be on this team next year. But it's not a foregone conclusion that those other 2 guys are on this team next year. Those other your other 2 first round draft picks out of the 5 you've used over the last 2 seasons. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And that's maybe where you maybe you package them with picks or together to get a player that's ready to win now for the foreseeable future rather than down the line. From Donald, it's very frustrating how amazing we played tonight against a difficult team, mind you, but we can't win at home when we need it. Yeah, like that Blue Jacket. I think the Blue Jackets game was at home. I want to say it was against one of the worst teams in the league, and we can't get a W there. That one might have been a road game though. From Will McBills. Yeah, we are at 71. Yep, that's what I thought. Isles is the team we are chasing 5 points out from being from them with 2 to 3 games in hand. I think right now we have 2 games in hand. Also, Greg, if we could swap Bryson for Clay, we might have a better chance at the playoffs. Bryson just isn't doing it for me. He isn't doing it for a lot of people, man. Even though I don't think he had a terrible, terrible game tonight, but he's just too small. I am not sure what I'm looking at right now because my screen's kind of small. Sent a bunch of emojis here, Greg. I don't know what we're looking at, bud. Smoke. Yeah. Again, big win tonight. Blow Leafs blow. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. I'm kind of tapped out. We're past 11 o'clock here. I'm super pumped, going to bed, super happy after a big 4-3 win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Other things I saw. One thing I did want to mention too is when Buffalo plays as physical as the opponent and they don't allow themselves to get pushed around, they win hockey games. They do. I think this team has had a tendency to fold when the play gets a little physical. Tonight they didn't. You saw that big hit by Donnelly on Matthews behind the net early in the game. Stillman had, was throwing the body around a little bit. Tuch was finishing his checks. When you play physical, when you meet their physical play with your own physical play, because you just cannot beat these teams always on talent alone. You have to get in the grimy areas. You have to get pucks on net. You have to be willing to take a beating to win right now, because you're not going to win games right now like the way your Bostons, your Tampa, and, the way that, Toronto win games, just a lot of time on talent alone, where they don't have to play chip and chase hockey all the time. And, where their transitions into the offensive zone, their zone entries are always flawless. Sometimes it's not the case for us. And we have to get, you have to, grip your stick a little tighter, get in there and take a beating, and we'll be willing to give a beating. So, I like that about their game tonight. They matched their physical play with their own. I think Toronto only hit them by like 2 hits tonight. We took over a lot of the, we were 1 for 3 on the power play. I think faceoffs are pretty damn dead even. You played a really even game with Toronto tonight. You really did. And, you won a huge game, a division game. Again, not that the division matters right now. The wild card is what we're looking forward to. But again, you just love to beat the Leafs. So, remember, this is brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on George Ribbon Boulevard. Don't haste all your Sabres game night, game day, or any just type of need. Get over to Outlet Liquor. Tell them Duane from Two Goalies, One Mic, and I'll hang up and listen. Sent you. With that being said, if you guys got nothing left to say, I'm going to call it an early night. I'll hang up and listen, and let's go Sabres. Love you guys.